I'm recording this one. I was telling Daquan that we are in the process of getting a bigger vehicle because we have every other weekend we have five. We're blended. So Jessica's got two. We got two there, and then I've got the three. So we've got five every other weekend. So we got seven, and we don't have a vehicle that we can all ride in it right now. I've got a truck for work, and she's got a Chevy Cruze, and we can't. So when we travel or something, we're taking two vehicles, which is fine. We can do that, but I'd rather have one vehicle so we can all ride together. So that's Tuesday. Jessica was off school, and so we thought we were going to be able to ride up to Birmingham, which is about an hour away, look at a vehicle that we found and possibly purchase it. And it just didn't work out that way. And then we got in the traffic on the way back. And so I couldn't make the class, and I apologize for that. So, but what I wanted to talk about, actually, I posted it up on the Encountering page on Facebook. It's a teaching I did down in Florida. And I can't, I could teach it again, but that's about as good as it gets on who we are and how one we are. And that's basically, I wanted to set the foundation last Tuesday, because without that foundation of who we are and just how one we are with and as all things, it's kind of hard to get into some of the things we're going to get into. And there's levels. I understand it. I'll tell you, with me, I ended up I'm from Selma, Alabama. And if you don't know, Selma's a little town in Alabama, but it's known for the civil rights movement. It was where Martin Luther King, gathered lots of people together of all races and different religious backgrounds, and came together and marched over the bridge, Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. Well, Selma, it's also where, what's his name? Casey. What was the Chandler Sears name? Something Casey. Anyway.
Edward Casey.
Yeah, Edward Casey lived in Selma for a while because he said it was a portal, and the spiritual activity there was, it was just easier to tap in.
Oh, wow.
I can attest to that. But Selma's been known, I would say, in a negative light, because when Martin Luther King and everyone came hand in hand across the bridge the first time, the Selma mayor and probably the governor back then and all that, but anyway, the state troopers and sheriffs and everything were there with dogs and fire hoses and sprayed them down and set the dogs off on them and beat them with billy clubs and all that. So my grandfather, who was a Baptist minister, he got kicked out of the Baptist Association because he had a real revelation of love, and that we were all equal, one family. And so he opened his doors up to his church and invited everyone in. And when he did that, there was a hooker that came in and sat down on the front pew and lit up a cigarette, and it got him ran out of the Baptist Association. So he later became an Episcopalian priest. But anyway, so my grandfather during this time was friends with the mayor of Selma, and was the one who went in there and talked the mayor into letting them walk over and do what they were going to do. And that he really had no right to spray them down like that, that they were just as, just as much a person and a living human being as everyone else, So it's really been ingrained in me that we're all equal. It's in my family. I just told you about my grandfather. My dad was the same way. He ingrained it in us that this whole thing, even with races and colors, it's an illusion. We're one family. We're all equal. There's not one above another. And if someone is, and he really ingrained in me to help those in need, which actually my family name, Martin, that's what it means, to place those in need and to help those in need, to always place those in need at the forefront and to help those that are in need. And in need could mean a lot of different things. It could mean a lot of different things. So it's ingrained in me. And so, when I had the encounter that I had, and I started to really devour the Bible and really started hearing this voice, which is our voice. It's our voice. But I knew it as another voice. I was being spoken to. And I was getting beyond the words on the page, which are you would say masculine. So the book's masculine, the phone is masculine, I'm touching it, it's masculine. My perception of this phone is feminine. It's invisible. That's the feminine aspect, or feminine principle, or feminine energy, you could say. The YHWH, Yod He Vave, is the masculine and feminine as one within us, as one. That delivers us from what? From separation. That mindset of separation, that we are different, that we are something less than, that, that we are something else, that there's a being outside of us that delivers us from that. It's the Christ within us, and the Christ within us it means, simply put, in the Aramaic, it means, and I talk about the Aramaic a lot because Jesus would have spoken in Aramaic. That would have been their common language for the area he was in. It would have been what he spoke to the disciples in and things, the ancient Aramaic. And so the Christ simply means the anointing. And the anointing means the projection or the image or the very unique expression that you are, or that I am, or that you are, Lorene, or you. You want me to call you Debbie or Deborah? You like Debbie? Well, she's muted. I'm gonna call you Debbie. That's my aunt's name. I call her Aunt Deb. So, so anyway, so that very unique expression, which is also our heart's desire, is very unique and specific to each and every cell or member. So let's say that's the micro, or let's say that's the one idea of our one absolute only eternal being as the Quan, or as me. Very unique purpose, very unique reason we're here, very unique characteristics, very unique distinctions. But that uniqueness that is you and is me, it does not distinguish us from God. It does not distinguish us and separate us from. And Jesus would have used Allaha for God, which means the one and only being. And let's remove thee there, because that separates too. If I say thee, it's something outside of me. The one and only being, the spirit, so let's just say our being. And if it's our being, then it's us, it's we. It's we. And so that uniqueness is our one being's uniqueness, very unique distinctions as an individual named the Quan. But it does not separate us. It's the very thing that holds us and binds us together. Because on a collective scale, So that's the micro. Now let's talk about the macro of that. The macro of that is the one idea of our one and only being in, through, and as humanity as a whole. It's the idea of God made manifest, unveiled fully, operating at full capacity, operating at full potential, individually as a member, but then corporately as a body. That's how the prophets of old would prophesy things about peace on earth, no more violence. They would beat their tools of war into pruning hooks and plowshares, gardening tools. The lamb lays down with the lion. This is all within. The lamb lays down with the lion within, but as within, so without, right? And this is very important. And I'll tell you why. I had a man, I was on a podcast once, and it was Paul, get his last name, Paul White, I think. Anyway, I was on his podcast, and he said, he said, Alec, what has this done, this revelation of oneness, and just the revelation of us, one. You read John 17, as Jesus prayed it, that we would experience the same oneness he experienced with Father, and that word Father is Abun. If you go and you watch that video I posted on the Encountering site, I break that down a little better too. But Abun is our one absolute eternal being that all things emerged from. And that you can bounce that off John 1, 3 or 4, whatever it is. It says all things were made through that, and not one thing that was made separate from that. Abun. All our being. And that word made is actually this Greek word gonamahi, and it means to transition from one condition into another condition. And that coincides with the first law of thermodynamics that says that energy can be neither created nor destroyed. Energy can only transition condition. So now, now we're talking about a being, we're talking about energy, we're talking about, and then behind energy, there's a force, right? There's a power. Everything is vibrating. There's a vibratory energy, because even before sound, there's vibration, right? Vibration. So everything, and what you'll find is that everything vibrates. Even this house vibrates. Everything, there's movement, there's vibration. So this uniqueness that we each are is the Christ in you. Is the Christ in you. But what I've found is that most of us don't know what or who that is. Most of us don't know our purpose. Most of us don't know the unique expression that we are. Most of us don't know the things that excite us the most. We're doing them, but for some reason we don't know them, and I'll tell you why. Most of us don't know our true passion. Most of us don't know our heart's desire, what was written on our hearts, our destiny, all that. And the reason being is because from our mother's womb, we've been programmed and conditioned another's image, another's purpose, all these things. So what I really wanted to do is today is just briefly go over that, because it says in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So in the beginning is before the beginning in the Aramaic. It's in the Greek, it's arche, which means source, origin. And so before the beginning means eternally. And eternity is now, in the present moment now. There is no past. The past is a memory, it's a thought image. And the future is a fantasy. The future is not. So truthfully, all there is now, present. And the present is presence. Now it's our presence. That's why it says in mountains melt like wax in my presence, which is present now. Everything, all things dissolve into the truth, which is our presence, which is present, which is now. This, everything we're going to do starting Tuesday and on is set up to help us to be more aware of the present now, presence, our presence. That's why the truth transmutes all things into the truth. Everything dissolves into the truth. Well, what's the truth? We are. Well, what are we? We're present. We're the presence. So anything, and how do we know? How do we know if we're not being present? We're not aware of the present. Well, we feel uneasy. You might feel disturbed. You might feel agitated. You might feel frustrated. You might feel aggravated, which is all formed. You might feel depressed. You might feel anxious. You might feel fearful. You might feel all those things we've named. And all it is energy that we're naming, and we're attaching it to very negative connotations. But they're indicators that we're not present. And anything that's not present is not at ease, is diseased, the absence of ease. But in the present is ease, in the present is peace, in the present is tranquility, in the present is wholeness, in the present is joy, in the present is unconditional love, in the present is rest. So in the present, which is our presence, is the absence of the absence of ease. So in the presence, there is no dis-ease, the things we all suffer from. There is no resistance in the presence, which is us. So this will be quick, but what I want to do is just use a real quick technique of a way I've learned to come back into the present when I'm aware that I'm not. And it's not that I'm not. Let me take that back. It's impossible to not be present because there is only now. But it says, remember, at one time you thought you were separate and enemies with God. You're separated. We're separating and making ourselves enemies with ourselves because we're one. And, and so we're battling internally with ourselves, resisting, negating our source, our origin, which is the truth. And so in all actuality, we're resisting and negating the present now. And so it's all in our mind, it's in our head. So when I become aware that I'm busy, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm angry, agitated, aggravated, frustrated, all those things, fearful, whatever it may be, what I've just done is I've become aware that I'm diseased. I'm not at ease, I'm not at rest, I'm not aware of the present moment. And I want to be aware, I want to be present. Why? Because I want to be at peace. I want to experience peace and rest and harmony and all that, and so we're learning to stay at peace. And it's right there. The instructions are right there. Not even instructions, but we were told, now we're being taught. But it says, be still and know I'm God. Be still means, if you dig into the words, it means to relax. So to relax and turn within, or to relax and drop down within and experience the presence, peace, tranquility, all that. So what I've learned is that in order for me to be still, I have to be intentional about it. When I become aware that I'm not at ease, I simply pause all my doings, everything. I pause it. I shut the phone off. If I have to pull the truck over, I pull the truck over. If I have to go find a porta-john, I go find a porta-john. I get away from all the doings, and sometimes I have to physically go to another place. I just do. But I believe that as we practice this, it becomes a natural working part of who we are, because it is. It just, but because we've been conditioned towards something else, we have to be intentional about being who we are. Establishing the true observer. The true observer is established in its natural environment, or its natural state of being. But our natural state of being is now. It's eternity. It's present. Heaven is now. It's in the present. The presence is in the present. And there's a few techniques, but what I really want to do is, we lost a couple, but that's okay. We're recording, and I'm learning how to do these recordings and edit them. So I still don't have the first one up, but I'm learning how to do it. And I'll have that up shortly. But so when I become aware that I'm uneasy, feel out of whack, and I know this because I've been practicing self-awareness. I've been practicing being and feeling my internal environment and also the external environment. I'm feeling and sensing and being aware of that. And we're going to get into some practices of that too. But tonight, this afternoon, I want to just real quick use this technique. So, Debbie, once you become aware that you feel whatever you may feel. Some people back in the day used to say, I lost my peace. I got out of peace. And so we're letting the peace of God rule our hearts. So the peace isn't here. It's here. And everything goes away when I come into here. So once I become aware that I'm uneasy, I stop all my doings. I turn my phone off. I pause everything. And when I pause, wherever I'm at, like in this chair right here, I get comfortable in the chair. So if you're there, you just get comfortable in that chair you're sitting in. Yep. And I'm gonna kind of break it down real quick, and then I'm gonna walk you through this real quick meditation to experience just complete peace. You're gonna feel like you took a Valium or something. And so what happens is I pause all my doings. I free myself from external disturbances. Put that away. And if the kids are running crazy, guess what? I'm no good if I'm uneasy with my children. So I will even say, Jessica, I need to go back to the room for a minute, and I need to come on back in stillness.
Okay.
Because I'm uneasy right now. I can feel it. And she's good with that because we both know this, and once I do that, I find a comfortable place to sit, and I just relax. And a lot of times I'll take 3 or 4 clearing breaths, and a clearing breath is real easy. It's just deep in through the nose. Let it all out. You can even make a noise if you want to. Just let it out. Like 3 or 4 of those. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to relax my head. Starting with my forehead. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to relax my eyebrows, my eyes, my eye sockets, my cheeks, my ears. I'm just, when I say relax, I'm letting it all just drop down like I'm melting. I even drop the jaw down so the tongue doesn't cleave to the roof of my mouth. And I want to become very aware of any tension in my face. I'm very aware of the head right now. And if I feel any tension in my face, I just turn my awareness to it and I just relax it. I drop it down. I become very relaxed in my head area. The body follows the head. So when we relax the head, the body becomes relaxed. The whole body. And then I'll relax my neck and my shoulders. I just let it fall all the way down and I melt myself. I literally melt myself into the chair. I just melt myself into the chair, dropping down into the chair and melt myself. And time stands still. Now I'm slowing my breathing down and I'm going in 4 long seconds through the nose. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. I hold it at the top for 2 and drop down further. And then I let it out 6 long seconds. In through the nose, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Hold it, 1, 1,000, 2. Let it out. And drop down even further. Time stands still. Focus on the breath. In through the nose, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Hold it. And let it go. In through the nose, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Hold it. And let it out. Now drop down even further. Just drop down within and be present within yourself. Keep your rhythm going with your breathing and just relax. Drop down even further. Now I'll do this until I feel relaxed and I feel peaceful. I'm not doing anything at all. I'm not going anywhere. If thoughts arise, I let them arise. I don't resist them. And I just come right back within the stillness. I'm not doing anything. I'm not trying to pray. I'm not saying anything. At this point, I'm just experiencing peace. I'm very aware of inside. And this is who I am. This is who we are. It's peace and tranquility. It's present right now. And everything dissolves into the truth, into this presence. Everything does. Once I feel that peace, I open my eyes and I come out of it. Once I feel that stillness, I come out of it.
You're going to have to stop me because I don't want to stop.
You can stay there as long as you want. That's a good place to be. I got so deep in it this morning that I became aware of that I was not just within my body, I was without also. And which I've done that before, but it felt like I left my body. But what I believe is I just became aware of where we already are. But when I did, I realized I wasn't breathing. And it freaked me out a little bit. and I came right back out of it. I was like, oh man, that was deep.
Lost skin.
Yeah, it was scary. Oh man. I got violently yanked out of my head one night, and that was one of the weirdest experiences. It happened to me more than once, and I was, at the time I was asking to relocate and travel and all that stuff. I was wanting to experience it, and sure enough, that night it was violent though. It was like, and it freaked me out. And then when I came back, I put myself. And we'll do some of this in the days to come on Tuesdays, but I'll show y'all how you can get in the in-between. So not really asleep, but not really awake, that place. That's where you get a lot of trances and things given to you and visions and things. But that's where I was at. And we're learning to consciously be able to operate and do these things, right? And so that's where I was at. I put myself in that in-between place. And I got it felt like I got violently sucked out of my head. And it was freaky. God, was freaky. Absolutely freaky.
That might be normal. I'm not sure. I haven't read much, but I think those kind of things are like to not be feared, and you can't be hurt. You can't be, even with the stopping breathing, it might be possible to not breathe for a long time.
Very true. I'll tell you what I immediately said when I came back, because when I came back, I came out of it, and I was like, oh man, this is what I've been praying for. I promise next time I won't fear it. I promise, And then it happened again, and I freaked out again.
Instinct. Yeah, of course. But you'll get used to it, I think. Read on it a little, and people who would know who have done it.
Yeah. And I'm going places, and but things that are unrecognizable to us, that are unknown, because they're unknown and they're unrecognizable to us, for some reason we tend to resist those things. And we're all, no matter what, I believe we're all coming into a place where we just fully trust, because there's really nothing to fear.
Daniel was talking about that some.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw his post, it's last one, his recording. It's amazing. It's amazing. The steps, everything is there, keys.
Yep. I tell you what, I came this morning. I said, man, so everything is vibrating. There's one vibration, and there's there's variations of the one vibration. And so a mineral or a rock vibrates at a slower rate than we do, or a bird, or a dog, or and then we're right now vibrating at a slower rate than, I would say, the divine intelligence, or we could say, or even some call it like the ether or the field or divine consciousness, or you could say the all. But I found in the Bible that we've always been in the makeup of the all, or you could say God, or whatever we want to use there. I like to interchange them because some people I don't want to turn anybody off by traditional language, but I don't want to turn off people that like the traditional language either.
Right.
You know, and they're all okay to use, but I do believe we're coming to a place where we're not even using those words because even those words separate. It's just
Just gonna
us.
become natural, maybe, where it's just like telepathic or
Yep.
it's natural. It's kind of happened with me sometimes with one person I'm like on a good spiritual level with. And she's not even into this stuff much, but she is some.
Yeah. Yep. And I see that but you can't really ask, okay, well, why does God like to create universes or create? Why do we like to create? And I no longer believe that it's just who we are. There's no why. It's us. So, and I don't believe anymore that anything was necessarily created. I think we unveiled and are unveiling ourselves, what the allness of the all. We're becoming aware of what's always been. You know, we're you know, and there's maybe different layers or planes of awareness, you could say. But so let's just say there's a beginning. Let's just call it the beginning. And in this beginning was the all, we could say. But it says that in him was life, and the life was the light of mankind. So the light of mankind's always been in this being and the makeup of this being. But we were in that place, we were vibrating at such a high rate and such a high frequency that that's all we knew. We were not aware of even ourselves. We weren't even aware of others, of course. We weren't aware of ourselves. It's like my cells that make up my liver. Are they really aware of anything outside of the intelligence of the liver? Well, an idea of another experience would have to drop down in order for them to be aware of another experience. And so in this place, though, I see that we fell into a very deep meditation, which could also be likened to a deep sleep. We placed ourselves into. And when you look into meditation also means attention, or you can say contemplation, but attention means a stretching out or a reaching out or an extending or an expanding. So you're reaching towards something. And what we were reaching towards in this deep meditation was the very foundations of the worlds of matter, which we are. And when we reached towards that, or we contemplated, meditated, focused upon that, we lowered the vibration of ourselves to the point of unveiling the foundations of the world. And when we got to that point of such a low vibration, the pendulum swung back, and then there's a returning home. And we've been returning home or awakening or remembering ever since. And as we become, and the pendulum's swinging naturally now, it doesn't, so there's nothing we can do more or less to stop it or slow it down or speed it up. It's unfolding just as it should. And the vibration is raising right now, and the frequency is raising right now. And as that happens, we're becoming more aware of the allness that we are. We're seeing more things where the vibration is raising, and when the vibration raises, we're unveiling ourselves. And when the vibration raises, what happens to matter is it becomes lighter, it becomes transparent. And so essentially we're raising the vibration and shifting all matter. You can say a new earth. And so, which is the same thing as the truth transmutes all into the truth, or we're dissolving all things into ourselves. And so we're returning home. There's a returning home. And as the vibration raises, we will see transfiguration, illumination, walking on water. Why? Because we're lighter. The vibration, levitation. There's lots of people levitating now. All these, and that's where communication becomes heart to heart too. It's because the vibration is raising. We're becoming aware of more of ourselves, that which we've always been. And it's a natural thing that I don't see that there's anything we can do to speed it up or slow it down. It's natural. And we did it together. Maybe unconscious of it, but, and here's the thing about it. So we were in that place and we were not aware of the member that we were or other members. So as we return home and we rise, ascend, right? And vibration rises as we return home. When we return home, fully, we'll still be aware of each other, each member as one. So maybe that's the whole reason behind it all. Just some thoughts I had this morning.
Well, so much of what you're talking about has been seriously impressed to me as very, very important. And I didn't have details, even started maybe 2-3 years ago. The return, there's a homesickness thing that comes up in me that I barely remember and feel it, but it's there. I used to have it when I don't know what it is, but I believe I want to become who I am home. I want to be the home. I don't want to go away, go home, but I want to do it here. It's an
Right.
actual tangible feeling. And then the John 1 through 4, I couldn't get out of that for 2 years. Couple of years ago, I was in it for a full year, but I never got the deep revelation that it's meant to have now. The now revelation on it. That too, it's so, and the make them one as we are one, that was on me. It is highly important.
Yes.
Everything
I
you're
was in
talking
John
about.
1 through 4 for 3 years.
I know, that's what this is why I'm bringing it up. It's pretty amazing. I've got fire and I've had fire flowing and these chill things running off the top of my head most of the session.
Yeah, that's good. The fire. Yep. Well, thank you for joining me. I guess it was supposed to be me and you tonight.
I guess so.
It was good.
Oh, yeah, it was.
I got to go pick up Eliana May.
Thank you. And are you going to send a link every week or what in the box? Where will it be? Will it be in my email then?
Basically. Facebook disabled my ability to do lives. I can't go live anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Know that.
I guess they're censoring me. So, or whatever. But so what I want to really do, it would be so much easier if we just go live from the Facebook site, and then everybody can join in, and then I can take those and convert them over to YouTube's or whatever. And but what we're going to have to do, since Jessica's an admin too, we're going to try it. We'll test it out, but we're going to go through her login as admin to the Encountering Our Presence site. So we'll bypass their blocking me, and we'll go through her. And what I want to do is just go live through the site, and that way it's so much easier. We got a lot of people that aren't familiar with Zoom, and and a lot of people just don't even use email that much. A lot of people that are interested in this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find easier ways for us than Zoom, and so that's an option. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to convert over to Restream, and I will send another link out through Restream. But it's much easier. And Restream,
I don't know any of this stuff, Restream, or I got Zoom on here. I mean, but where do I contact now or look for now? Where do I go now to see what's current with, these groups or whatever? If the link's coming out, whatever.
Yeah, if you check your messages, I sent you an invite.
All right.
To Encountering Our Presence.
All right.
Yeah,
right.
and just join in with us, because I'm gonna start doing the lives through there.
All right. Now, will you send a link every week, or do I use the same link?
You can use the same link, but if I switch, I'll have to send another link. But I'll update everyone on the site, because what I want to do, I just want to go use the live function on Facebook, and then everybody can just join in and do the normal thing that everybody's used to doing. And so that's what we'll do.
All right. Anytime you can instant message me with any info on that works too.
Yep. I'm on. Hey, have you been messaging Jessica at all?
I have a few times.
I'll get her to start messaging.
All right.
Well,
She's
thank you.
trying. I guess she's busy.
She's at school.
Oh, wow. All right.
She's at Aveda learning cosmetology.
All right. That's good. That's
Yep,
real.
yep.
She's creative.
Yep, she wants to have a shop that also includes it's like a wellness place that also includes meditation and maybe
Nice.
some life coaching and yoga and
Yeah.
crystals and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crystal technology.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep,
All
yep,
right.
yep.
All right. Thanks for your time, and I'll
Thank
let
you,
you
Debbie.
roll. All right, Alex.
Bye.
Good
But
night.
Elijah, you came on too late. We were on at 4 and I got to go pick up my daughter.